Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. We're in episode 93.
93.
Yes, and we are talking about cars. Beep beep. Stick around if you want to hear more. Hello, Dad.
Hello, son. How are you?
Yes, good, thank you.
Good. What's been happening in your world?
Wow. Let's quick into it. I was going to quickly just introduce you by name.
Oh, go on then.
This is David, also known as Father.
Yeah, and this is son, also known as Conor. The wrong way around that was, yeah.
That's fine,
also,
we'll go with that.
Mainly known as Conor. Known as son by only 2 people. Oh, what? This is going to be a bad one, isn't it?
And
what I'm talking about.
The podcast comes out on a Sunday.
Yes, and that as well, yes.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, that went well already, didn't it?
So, what have I been up to?
What have you been up to?
I'm
Yeah,
so confused. What's going on?
What's going
What's
on?
my
I
name
just
again?
wondered what you.
Conor.
Yeah, I just wondered what you've been doing, and what's been happening in your life that I don't know about. No, not that I don't know about, because I know most of it. But I'll just say something.
Well, since the last episode.
Yeah.
Since the last episode, I've raised money for charity.
Good.
Yeah, so as you would have heard in the last episode, I'm currently raising money to do a skyscraper challenge in September, where I'll be climbing up the skyscraper, climbing up the stairs in the skyscraper, then abseiling down the side of it. Go on our website, fatherandsundays.com/charity, and it's on there. That's all I'm going to really say about it too much at the moment, but I've
I
raised
would
money
give
so
you
far.
loads more money if you climb up the skyscraper and then abseil down it.
So the episode on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Down a lift shaft.
Yeah. Whilst the lift's still going.
Double that £5 that I've sponsored you. Yeah.
Anyway, so I've raised some money on that. I was waiting most of the week. Bear in mind that we record this episode a week in advance. Waited most of the week for Hogwarts Legacy, the game to come out.
Yep.
And that came out, and I've played it for 11 hours so far.
Wow, have you?
Yep. Yeah, because it tells you how long you've been playing it.
Yeah.
Although,
probably,
in fairness, some of it I've left it on whilst going downstairs and stuff like that, and then to come back to it. So there's going to be probably about
10 hours 50 that you've been playing it, and
10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it isn't how it's been working. But
I must admit, I walked in and looked at it, and I mean, it's not everybody's thing. Video games, like it's not everybody's thing. Cars, but it looks incredible. The graphics on it. We've got some old Harry Potter games, haven't we? Of various different formats and they were good. And at the time, they were. But this is something else.
Well, this is the thing. When I've played it, I've spoken to you about it separately about the fact of we've been to Harry Potter Studios.
Yep.
Like we've been to Warner Brothers Studios to look at where they filmed Harry Potter. We've been to Florida and we've been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Yep.
And you can that's the closest you can get to in real life visiting these places.
Yeah.
However, there's still a little bit missing the fact that you can't explore and you don't have the full thing of what if I walk down this corridor. That game kind of means that I can walk down the corridor and feel like, yes, it's missing some things. Like we were discussing earlier about the fact that Whomping Willow, for example, it's set in the 1800s, and Sam yesterday was asking me, where's the Whomping Willow? I don't know. I don't actually know. It's actually quite accurate. It seems to be weird that it's missing the Whomping Willow, but the backstory of that is the Whomping Willow wasn't planted into 1900s, so that's why it wasn't there. In essence, it's a very good game. I know there's other stuff that goes on with it, and there's some people boycotting it, but ignoring all of that, game and stuff like that.
Thinking about that, it's a game.
It's a good game. It
looks really good. They've obviously, the attention to detail is incredible. So someone's put a lot of effort into that, or people have put a lot of effort to that. It looks really good. Anyway,
yeah. But so I've been enjoying that.
So that's
and there's cats in it, and every time I see a cat, you can stroke it. So every single time I've seen a cat, I'll be sprinting down Hogsmeade, and there'll be a cat, and I'll just stop in my tracks, and I'll stroke the cat, and then I'll carry on.
Okay, so 1.5 hours playing it, around about 8-9 hours stroking cats, and a little bit of time away.
There was one bit I came to it in the castle, and there was 3 cats all in one place, so I had to stroke a cat, then walk over to the next cat and stroke that, and walk over to the next cat and stroke that.
So it's very good for stroking cats. You could get a game that's just about looking after cats if...
Well, I was just having a look at Steam.
You probably wouldn't have had to wait for that.
I was just having a look at Steam, and I've just mentioned it to you before we start recording, that there's a game that's called... what's it called? Like Rescue Centre Simulator?
I'm glad that's the game we're talking about, yeah.
Oh, not the...
No.
Yeah, not going to mention that one. There was a rude game as well to do with a certain...
No, you don't even have to go
dictator.
into it. Go on.
Yeah, and there's that rescue centre
all right, great
thing. Animal shelter, that's it. Animal shelter
Not
simulator.
so interested in that one, I must admit, but there you go. But that does look a good game. And, maybe I'll sneak in here and mess it all up for you one day when you're at work.
Yeah, it's open world, which makes it quite cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, how was your week been?
Terrible.
Good. Glad.
Yes, terrible, Conor. Absolutely terrible. My work is absolutely awful at the moment. There's things going on that is just getting me right down, which is sort of given me a little bit of a nudge in the way of what do I want to do next as a career?
What do you want to do when you're older?
What I want to do when I'm older? Well, I did think that perhaps I could retire in a few years' time and I'll just plod along doing this job as a postman, which I am, for a few more years. I don't think that's going to be what's going to happen. So I've been I did actually put it out and ask people what they think I should do next. And there was some popular ones.
What kind of suggestions did you get?
Dog walker.
Yeah,
that's come up before, I think. So I think that's someone else wants to do that and wants me to do it with them. So that came up from a few people. Unfortunately, I put it out on Facebook and I asked a few people at work. Suggestions from work. The first one was, what about a magician?
Yeah,
right? I didn't really think... I don't even understand.
From Harry Potter.
Well, it is, but I have no idea why that was suggested. Then there was an OnlyFans, setting up my own OnlyFans, which I'm looking into at the moment.
Yeah, sell pictures of your feet.
Yeah, things like that. Postman, someone said.
I did see that.
Yeah, which I thought was quite rude.
Did they realise you were a postman already?
Yes, it was deliberately done, I think. And
because you've asked for a job that you could still wear shorts.
Yes, yeah, but they were just being funny, saying that like I weren't a postman already. What was it? Milkman and stand-up, neither of which I want to do either. So there you go.
Because you're sitting down at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm still looking, but maybe there'll be some exciting news when I finally find something.
Stand-up's a difficult job.
Oh, I wouldn't be any good at that at all. So I think...
You're a funny man, but...
A funny man. Very dim, but funny.
Yeah.
Very unintelligent, but, But I would like to...
Have you heard that somewhere?
Yeah, I heard on the grapevine that people think I'm unintelligent. Yeah. Anyway, I'll try and up my game. Sorry about that. I would like to work with...
Bit of feedback on the podcast?
Yeah. With animals would be great. So maybe a dog walker. Maybe I'll try and get myself a job in a zoo or
we should have got that hedgehog
centre or something like that and help out. We should have. Anyway.
Should have.
Yeah, should have. Should have, could have, had have, didn't.
How about we open a farm?
That would be a good idea.
Or you get a job where you have to drive cars for a living.
Oh, very good.
Wow. Let's talk about cars.
Let's talk about cars then.
But I'm really sorry that you're having a horrible time with your job.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Hopefully we can get an idea of what you should do next. I mean, if anyone else has a suggestion, then feel free to share it.
I'm sure people will be giving me really random suggestions, as they seem to do with everything. But yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see what unfolds in the months to come. Let's hope something pops up. But cars,
like the song, cars,
like the song, cars.
I did that at the end of the last episode.
I know you did. Yeah. I'm aware of that. Now. There's a lot of talk at the moment about trying to cut down on the amount of use of cars, pollution, about the price, and certainly at the moment the price of filling up your car with petrol.
It costs a lot of money. Very, very, very expensive.
Very expensive,
and this
especially
is why you
when
need
you
a job
buy
to pay for your petrol.
The packet of crisps, 2 chocolate bars, and some Lucasade when you go in there. Yes,
okay.
But
you get 2 chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Did you eat them both yourself?
Yep. I do. I love chocolate. Anyway.
By the way, is this when you fill up the van for work, or is this when you fill up your own car?
No. I have to do that completely separately in a different petrol station. That's the only ones we can use, and that's diesel.
And then do you... Okay, but thank you for explaining what you fill it up with. But then do you buy yourself a chocolate bar or a Lucozade from there?
When I fill up my car, I will normally fill up my car on my way home from work. And as I drive home from work, I treat myself. Usually buy a drink drink for the next day. Probably buy the 2 chocolate bars, one for that time and one for the next day, but I eat them anyway. And
this is the thing. I feel like... See, I used to buy chocolate bars every time I used to get petrol, but I don't anymore because, cost of living. But I do think... Is it like a reward? Because going to get petrol is a bit of a chore in itself.
Going to get petrol is a bit of a chore. Working at the moment is absolute pain in the tuchus.
Quite literally the reason why you get paid to work is because...
Yeah, well, I know that, but some days it feels like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to treat myself. We talked about this once before, being an adult where you can go in, as long as you've got the money, you can go and get whatever you like. But yeah, so
like
it's just a bit of a treat. Anyway, this wasn't about confectionery and what I buy when I get petrol.
Stations, it's cars.
But so people they're talking about exclusion zones around around London, and certainly at the moment, which is more.
ULEZ areas.
Is that what it's called?
ULEZ.
Really? I could have thought of something
ultra low
better.
Emission zone.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that. And really, the move towards I haven't really thought much about electric cars. It's something we live in an area where it wouldn't be very easy to have an electric car. We haven't got a drive. We can't be absolutely sure we're going to park outside our own house. So to actually charge it up, we'd have to go somewhere to charge it and to bring it back. And
I did think about this, and I've been thinking about this recently as well. I've always thought to myself, I won't get an electric car until I've got somewhere I can charge it. But I don't have a petrol station at my house.
No, that's absolutely true. You are right.
But the difference is petrol does last me for the journeys I'm doing, and I do drive to work pretty much every day. I can work from home sometimes, but I do generally drive to work every day to be in the office because it's easier to do my job in the office sometimes. I fill up once every 2 weeks. Whereas if I had electric, then I think I'd have to be filling up or topping up a bit more regularly.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into it as much as how, considering the journeys I make each day, what I'd have to do. But I guess, you could get hung up on the fact that, I mean, I walk around, that's my job, obviously I walk up and down people's drives and houses, see a lot of them, and a lot of them have got the plug points in the front of their houses and their cars, which looks a fantastic way of doing things. But
when I get a house, one of my things I do want to do is aim to one day have a house with a drive.
Oh, I think that's one of the things.
And as soon as I've got a house with a drive,
around a bend,
I will probably have some kind of charging point.
Yeah.
Or if I can afford it.
Yeah. Well, quite, yeah. But like we are at the moment, there's 3 of us living in this house, and all 3 of us have got our own cars, which obviously causes a problem because down the road that we live in, there's many other households that have got 2, 3 cars, and we've got a garage as well, which obviously park their cars down there. So it gets
when you say garage, you mean like one that fixes cars?
Yeah, mechanical.
Not our garage.
No.
We wouldn't be parking on the road.
I love driving. I do really enjoy driving. Okay, you very long journeys, you can get a bit tiresome and that, but on the whole, there's something about it. I've always done since I learnt how to drive, and I was able to drive in the different cars I've had, and even my job. I drive in my job, be it this sort of clapped out old van, but it is something I enjoy doing.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you drive around, so you've driven automatic cars, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've driven them in America and stuff like that as well.
Yes, I have, yeah. I drove Nans the other day.
So how do you find driving a manual car to an automatic? A lot of people do actually prefer an automatic and say they'll never go back to a manual once they've driven automatic.
Personally, when I drive a car, I like to feel like I'm driving a car, if that makes any sense. So I like to feel more in control. So I feel when I drive an automatic, I don't really feel... Now, that's going to sound terrible, like I'm in control. I am in control of the car, but I basically, with a
relying
manual
on something else
gear shift, I feel like going up and down the gear, I can really control it. And when I'm on my own in a car, and not driving to work now, I drive through some country lanes now. I probably do throw it about a bit when I shouldn't, but I really feel like I'm driving. Whereas if I get behind the wheel of an automatic, it doesn't feel so much like that. I don't feel as much of in control of what's happening.
I will say the gear shifts. See, the reason I mention it is because this is the way the world's going. If we're moving towards electric cars, we are going to be moving towards automatic gearboxes
of course,
as well, because they go hand in hand. But they are improving in the fact that the transmission for automatic gearboxes is a lot better than it used to be. It used to be a bit slower, now it's a lot better. The other thing I was going to say, but you do normally drive in a lower gear than what you probably should, don't you?
What is that? A observation of my driving?
Yep.
Okay, if you say so.
Because
my car that I drive at the moment tells me when I should be changing gear, and I change it. And the car that I drive, the other car, which is what is your mother's car, but I drive quite a lot. That does exactly the same as well.
So does mine.
Okay.
But it's an only observation. But when we were driving around the Lake District, you were driving in a lower gear. And it was telling you to go up a gear, and that consumes more petrol.
That may have been because I'm not used to driving your car, and also I was driving up and down quite steep hills, and would rather be revving going up those and making sure I've got the biting point in case there was any problems. That probably was a little bit to do with the terrain and being in a different car to what I'm used to and driving a terrain that's a little bit more challenging than just driving down a road. I think with automatics, if I drove an automatic, like I climbed into my mother-in-law's car and just moved it a matter of...
My nan.
Your nan. A couple of sort of spaces away. And it was really weird because I'd forgotten it was an automatic, and I got in there and I thought, oh, what? And so you're messing
Someone's
about
nicked
with
the
it.
pedals.
Yeah, what's happened here? And then, but the times where and you've already alluded to it, but the times that I actually use an automatic and have time to get used to it is when I go to the States, when we've been on holiday.
Because they primarily drive automatics.
Yeah. And certainly hire cars as well. And I've driven all sizes of like practically minibuses we've had before now, but they've all been automatic. And I think it lends itself to United States as well because there's an awful lot of just straight roads, or there's not roundabouts, and there's not a lot of changing of gears really.
Yeah, we're changing gear all the time.
But once you've been driving for a few days, it becomes much easier. So I think, as much as I say, I love gear stick, I'd be a manual driver. I think if I had an automatic, it wouldn't take long to get used to it.
Every day, in every way, the things people do, the things people say, just irritate me, please sedate me. These are the things that really get my goat.
I love Christmas. It's one of my favourite times of the year, a time for family, love and forgiveness. And as such, I can even forgive people for their garish decorations over this short period. However, when it is fast approaching the end of February and you've still got your impenetrable door fog up, this is totally unacceptable. Right, so talked a little bit about cars and how car invention. I think that was in 1908 from what I looked at.
Bit mic trouble there?
Bit mic trouble still. It was the first, or when I say mass produced, but produced on a line as opposed to it being individually made. But in 1886, the Benz patent motor car or motor wagon, it had 3 wheels, and that really was the first what I'd say would be proper car. but it wasn't mass produced, I don't believe. So I don't think that's why there's this dispute over which one came first. Obviously,
it was the egg.
It's the egg that came first. At that time, there would have been very few cars on the road. I think we even looked at something. I think there was 2 cars in a particular state over in America, and they still managed to crash into each other. So that's always been a problem as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, the speeds were very low. As I say, there wouldn't have been much in the way of... I imagine the roads and the infrastructure was non-existent. Because you'd thought before that it would all be carts, horse and carts, and it's quite
a massive feat though to have this tiny little power plant inside of a vehicle.
It's the engineering behind it. Yeah. It's quite remarkable. I mean, even and actually moving forward.
When I say power plant, you know what I mean. It's a combustion engine.
But moving forward quite a way from there, you know, even when I first started driving, your car when you. My first car, I was able to...
What was your first car?
My first car was a Volkswagen Beetle, which I'm always very proud of.
It had pink rims, didn't it?
It didn't have pink rims. They were white rims. I don't know why you always say that. I've got a picture of it.
In my head, they were pink rims.
Right.
Because I think you told me once you painted them pink.
No, I didn't ever paint them pink. I didn't paint them pink. I painted them white.
Hot pink.
But the point is, and that's probably not a good example with a Beetle, but you would... fix your car, you know, and my dad used to have a problem with his car. Most of the time, unless it was something really serious, he'd do it himself. He'd service it himself. He'd change the plugs. He'd do the brushes. He'd change the oil. He'd do all that sort of thing. And I used to do that. The reason I say it's not quite as straightforward with a VW Beetle is because obviously the engine's in the back, not in the front. So it's quite difficult the way the engine's set out on that to do anything like that with it, and that it used to cost quite a lot of money to have any work done. But I used to change the oil, I used to do different bits, take the wheels on and off, do this, that and the other to it. Nowadays, when you buy a car, you really are very limited to what you can do. I mean, you can top up the oil, you can top up the water in it, but they're usually quite sealed units within cars, aren't they? And which means that really you have to take them to... which is good news for garages and for manufacturers to go to, you know, their showrooms and that they run it through, you know. But that's the way you get things done now. You can't really do a huge amount yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, because you do want to get genuine parts. Out of interest, with your first car, how long did you have it before?
Oh, wow. I think I had it for about a year or so.
Yeah. How many times did you crash it in that year?
Once.
How long after you got it did you crash it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Interesting.
Well, can I put a bit of context to that then? Anybody that's driven a VW Beetle, they're like tanks, right? So when they go in a certain direction, it's not like power steering. You wouldn't have power steering, and they are very heavy cars. I drove a couple of 100 yards away from where I lived, and there's a bridge. It's a single lane bridge, and there was black ice, and I skidded from one side, skidded onto the pavement on the other side, and hit the wall, which was the railway bridge. Hit the wall there, and messed up all the side of it. Luckily, there was no one coming along.
Luckily, it was a tank, and it still worked.
It did, but obviously that was 2 weeks after having it, so it was every time I got into that car afterwards, it felt like it was sliding when it wasn't. And I must admit, as a car, as reliable, it wasn't very reliable. It used to drive for about 7 miles and then it would cut out. So you could I've cut out on main roads, up hills, all sorts of things, and obviously pushing it is not easy.
So you've had quite a lot of cars, really, haven't you?
I have had a lot of cars, yeah. An undetermined amount of cars. Yet until the end when the quiz comes in. Yeah, but I mean, I loved that car. I bought it and sold it for exactly the same amount of money.
Not bad.
No, and they were...
Bear in mind you crashed it as well.
Yeah, but no, it was all done up. Someone had redone the wing and sprayed it all up. It all looked good.
So investment in the car was a pretty good thing at the time. Yeah, but appreciation didn't happen.
No, but investments in Beetles, they didn't lose their price. Yeah. And I think even now, if you were to get hold of an old Beetle, I mean, I even remember the registration number of it. And you think how long ago? I mean, I
remember the registration of my first car.
That wasn't that long ago, though, was it? But it you know, it is a special thing getting a car. It is quite a big deal.
Well, did you get it new?
No, I got it. I mean, you've got to think the VW Beetles were made in the 60s. You know,
you were born in the 60s.
Yeah, but I didn't start driving in the 60s, did I?
You were born in 68.
Yeah. And how old are you when you start driving? 17. How old was I when I started driving my own car? 18, because that's when by the time I passed my test, that was then.
How many times did you have to do your test before you passed?
Twice, Conor.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you passed first time.
No, I'm not bragging or anything like that. I'm just asking.
I took 2. I was very, very nervous, and lots of things happened that...
Did you poo yourself?
No, I didn't do that, Conor. I didn't let the driving instructor in, because the last thing my driving instructor, said to me is, make sure you unlock the door, let him in the door. And then I just sat there, and in the end he was tapping on my window, the driving examiner.
Yeah.
And he got in, and a couple of things happened where I pulled around a corner, and there was a rag and bone man, like a horse and cart.
Oh, okay.
No, not him. And I don't know what he was doing there. He was standing in the middle of the road. I thought, get out of the road, you idiot. I was trying to read what he had said on his face as well. No, there was a rag and bone man, and like a horse and cart picking up rubbish from people's, and you know. And I started laughing. I thought, I'd just been behind a milk float, which again is something you don't see so much now. And I laughed. I turned to the guy next to me, the examiner. I said, I can't believe it. This would only happen to me. He said nothing. Now, there was people that were like that. I do think that happens now. They can actually talk to you. I mean, I understand they can't be your friend because they're doing the examination, but they don't have to be stony silent, because that just makes you more nervous. That's not a natural way to go.
My particular examiner that I had, because I only had the one, like we mentioned. Becky actually had the same one I had at one point.
Yeah, that's right.
She did it a couple of times. So you do know some of them, and people, there's always rumours. So the particular one I had, I remember my driving instructor going, he told me afterwards that as soon as he saw him come out, he wasn't going to say anything to me, but as soon as he saw him come out, it was a bit like, oh dear. And he'd actually said to me before the thing, he said, whatever happens, we'll ask for feedback. Whether you pass or fail, we'll ask for feedback. They have to give you feedback if you fail, but they don't have to if you pass, but we'll still get feedback. I passed, and then he didn't ask, and I didn't ask for feedback. And afterwards I was like, he was a bit stony faced, just straight to the point, wasn't he? Because just as soon as I got back, he went, well, Conor, is your driving instructor around? I went, yeah. He went, do you want to call him over? I called him over and said, well, Conor, I'm pleased to say you passed. I'm just going to fill out these details. And he sat there, and we all just sat in silence. He filled out these details, and my driving instructor put his thumbs up at me. And then we left, and I was like, he seemed a bit quiet. He went, yeah, that's why I never asked him to give feedback, because I got one of the stony-faced, not very nice instructors, but luckily things worked out for me.
Well, I think the first test I had, the first test I had was that one, and I got back and I failed it, and I was absolutely distraught. And then the second one I had, I don't know, the attitude was different. He had said to me, hopefully you won't get this particular person. And you all sat in a room, and the examiners come out and they go, Mr. Harding, and it was the bloke he hoped I wouldn't get. So we walked out to where the cars were.
So had you walked out thinking, well, I've already failed?
I think I walked out thinking, oh, for God's sake, here we go. I made a joke. When I'm nervous, I joke. And he said to me,
you also do that when you're confident.
Can you read the registration on that car? Meaning the car. I said, what car? and that met with, and I think because it was, whereas before when he didn't say anything, I was freaked out by it. This time I just laughed to myself. I just thought, whatever, you're going to be like that. And I got in, he got in, we drove up to the first junction, and I stalled. We just changed car. The instructor had just changed his car, so I wasn't quite used to the biting point, and it stalled. And instead of panicking, I just tutted, done all the procedure of doing what you're supposed to do, back into neutral, bang, 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 and I went.
which I can almost guarantee if you stalled now, you wouldn't do.
No. So, but the test was supposed to last, or usually last about 20 minutes. I thought it lasted a long while, and when I got back, there was only my instructor out there sitting on the wall outside the exam centre looking at me, and I saw him look at me, and then he pulled up, and he'd already done the highway code stuff and all the rest of it.
So you have a theory test now, it's done separately.
Yeah. And one of the questions was, what are the zigzag lines by a zebra crossing for? And I said, what do you mean what they're for? And he said, well, what do they represent? I said, well, you got to, it's an awareness that there's a thing. And I kept saying, and he kept going back to it. And then when we sat there, and I thought, whatever, it's going to be a foul again, isn't it? I've been out 40 minutes. And he said, right, I'm going to pass you. And I didn't really hear a great deal more after that, but I did hear him saying, but for God's sake, when you get in, look up what the zigzag... It is you don't overtake anybody on it, and you're not allowed to park on them. But, that was obvious to me, but I should have said it. But then I got in and it is an incredible feeling when you pass your test.
Yeah, it is.
Such an emotional thing. They don't let you... I don't know if with you,
yeah,
but
they don't let you drive.
Don't let you drive back, because obviously you're...
Well, as soon as that happened, you're fully insured, and I think... Sorry, you're got your full licence, and also the driving instructors aren't insured to have someone...
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess that's right.
They probably are, but I don't know. It's just one of these things as well.
It is about your attitude towards... I suppose that's about anything you do. If you go in it thinking, right... whatever happens, I'll do my best, then if you can maintain that, that's great. But it is such a high-pressured thing to do.
Oh, it is, yeah, big time.
You won't ever get a time like that going out in a car. You won't get a time where you feel that much. Oh, no, I
drive nothing like how I learnt to drive. Isn't it funny, though, all these bad habits? But
it has reminded me, and I understand the time-wise with it, but obviously... I took 2 driving tests and passed the second one, and that was when I was 18, right? I've been driving since then. I haven't had to have any more tests, obviously, and no problems. When I started driving vans for the Royal Mail, I had to have a test.
You did,
in the van, and that in itself, again, was such a bizarre experience, because not only did you have to prove you could drive it, and they have examiners that come in from the AA and the RAC and people like that and go out with you. But when we were going along a road, he said to me, right, I want you to describe to me what you see ahead. And I said, what, as far as the road? He said, no, I want you to tell me what you see ahead, everything that's going on. And again...
a hazard perception.
Yeah. And again, my mind took over and started to decide to do things differently. So I started off and I went, there's a road coming up on the left-hand side. A car's just pulled up there, but they're waiting for me. It looks like he's looking at me. That's okay. A little bit ahead of here, there's a pedestrian crossing, but there's no one near it. So I'll carry on going. On my right-hand side, there's a car, there's a turning on the right-hand side. But it's kind of thinking, what? And then... on my left, there's a man walking down with his dog. On my right-hand side, there's 2 women and a pushchair. And in the end, I was saying, and it was and he stopped me in the end, and I thought he was going to cause me a problem. Now, I didn't think there was a chance of me fouling it. Apparently, there is a big chance of me fouling it. But when I started talking about people's clothes and things like that, that's not what he wanted to know. But I was out for ages with him as well. You had to go and do a bit of a motorway driving and all the rest of it. But... nowadays, I'm just driving sort of a few miles a day all round an estate. It doesn't really make much difference. But yeah, that was weird having to do that all over again after so much time. Anyway, one thing we were going to say today was about the fact that cars, they're not just... we remember our first cars and we remember, these sort of things were tests. But
my first car, Vauxhall Corsa Griffin.
Yeah, Vauxhall Corsa, and it was brand new, wasn't it?
Brand new.
Yeah, what a lovely thing to have, a brand new car,
now
first car.
Passed away.
Oh no, it's gone, hasn't it?
In a car accident.
Yes.
So then I got a new car.
You got a new car?
A Ford Fiesta ST line.
Yeah, which is really nice, isn't it? Yeah, really nice. So, I mean...
20 reg.
I mean, that crash was horrible. It was horrible for you. It was very... difficult to see when I came and saw you there, even though you were standing there unhurt. It was.
I was sitting down at the time when you came over.
Yeah, actually, but when you looked at the car, I could have cried. But anyway, this new car is lovely. I mean, my new car, I've got an
MG3.
MG3. I love it. It's just, it's probably the comfort. It drives really nice. It's got all the okey cokey in it,
and it has this really fun beeping noise that it makes.
Does it?
Oh, it did. Is it stopped now?
Oh, it doesn't do that anymore. No.
Oh, okay.
no, we're all right.
It thinks when the door's open.
Yeah. No, I don't know what it was, but I've sorted it. I just slammed all the doors, and it's okay now. But what I was going to say is about films and TV, and I'm going to rattle through some things now. One thing that went before I could even drive, Bond films. Bond films and cars go hand in hand. You've got two of my favourites, obviously the classic Aston Martin DB5, right? Wonderful car. And if I had money, and money was no object to buy a car, I'd buy an Aston Martin.
Yeah, I might get an Aston Martin DB9.
Oh, just incredible. Lotus Esprit, S1, which was, if people remember, Spy Who Loved Me. I don't think it actually goes underwater like the one in the James Bond film, but that looked incredible as well. Very sleek, very stylish sports car. But then you've got, I've said about having a 3W Beetle. You got Herbie.
Yeah. How about, sorry,
no, go on.
I was going to say, how about oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name of it. From Back to the Future.
Well, that was the other one, a DeLorean.
I want
DeLorean
to call it Deluxe,
DMC.
though,
I mean, who'd even heard of DeLoreans before that film?
Exactly.
And then suddenly, I mean, that was a fairly short-lived sort of range of cars anyway. I think it was just that particular one.
If money was no object, and I would love to get a DeLorean one day.
Right.
Also, how about Reliant Robin?
Well, it's weird, isn't it?
That's a famous one, isn't it?
Reliant Robin, right. So you've got, I think the one in Only Fools and Horses is a Reliant Regal van, it's called. Yeah. But that, again, if you put...
Well, you were saying earlier about the first car being a freewheeler car.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I think they're terrible, the freewheelers. There's been other ones as well. I think there was a...
Normally they're better if they've got the wheel on the back rather than the front.
Yeah, there was a car called... I might be wrong here. I think it was something called a Messerschmitt. I know that's a plane, but it was something like that, or that was a freewheeler
made by the
as well.
Same people, probably.
Other ones, one of my favourites growing up, a Ford Grand Torino, a Starsky and Hutch car. And what used to be hilarious, I mean, those cars look incredible with a white stripe up them, but people used to have other cars when I was younger, and they'd put that white stripe. So they'd have a Ford Cortina, but they'd still have that white stripe going up the side of it, as if that made it look really cool.
That's one of my dream cars, is that one day to get a Ford GT, a modern one. But
it's iconic because of that. Minis, like Mini Coopers, you got the Italian job for when I was...
Don't look as good as they used to, I think.
No, see, a bit like the VW Beetles.
They've aged as... VW Beetles now are, in the nice possible way, really ugly.
I don't like them as much as the old ones were classic, and a bit like the Minis as well.
Yeah.
Italian Job, really the first film, Michael Caine in it. It's iconic. Them driving
small
about.
Anymore.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah, he drove a Mini, didn't he?
You show people. This is the thing about cars. If you show people a picture, like we said about the freewheeler van, show a freewheeler van, or anyone, but a yellow one, no writing on it. People will say Only Fools and Horses.
If you show a green Mini,
they'll say Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
You know, other ones...
Mr. Bean translates quite well to other countries as well.
It does indeed, really yeah. So there was a series of stuff that was sort of retro for TV crime and all the rest of it. You had, one that was actually in the at the time it was made, like 70s, it was the Ford Capri. Now, you had that in Only Fools and Horses. He got himself a Capri, as he used to call it. But they were... One of my friends had one when I first started driving, and they just looked like sports cars. They were just incredible. But then there was a series called Life on Mars, and Ashes to Ashes was the sequel to that. And it was about a policeman that sort of woke up in a different era, and went back. But even there, the Audi Quattro, and it even lent itself to... one of the catchphrases in it was "fire up the Quattro." You know, you get things that are the car is a character as much as the people that are in it anyway.
Quite literally, Knight Rider.
Well, Knight Rider. So, Knight Rider. That was a Pontiac Trans Am. What other ones did I think of here? So you obviously got things like the Batmobile, which the original Batmobile was a customized existing car, a mystery machine.
Yeah.
As again, if you showed a van like that, people were going to say Scooby-Doo.
And if people have vans like that, there's lots of vans painted up to look like the mystery machine.
And I tell you what, every time I see a black van, I think of the A-Team, and I do the little B.A. Baracus one from there. But one there was, to just finish off from your youth.
Oh, there was Brum.
Yeah.
Brum from my youth. That was an amazing TV show. I remember that. And what was fun about Brum? So we went to the Cotswolds. We went to the car museum in the Cotswolds.
Yeah, it was excellent there, wasn't it?
Burton on the Water.
Yeah, it had an incredible amount of cars in it.
They got a car museum, and without in the nicest possible way, we went in there thinking, "Oh, it's not going to be much," because it was just like looked really small from the front.
Yeah, it did.
But then you walk through a door, and it's basically just a bunch of buildings that they're all next to each other. So they've just made doors attached to them all.
Yeah.
And you go through, and there's all these really amazing cars.
A labyrinth, wasn't it?
One of which was Brum.
Well, had Brum the original Brum.
We met Brum.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So that was
cool.
It was quite an emotional time for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was a door that looked like the TARDIS.
It was, but that was great. I mean, that is, if you look around any of these museums, it's a real eye opener. Of, in a certain degree, cars are not quite as stylish, maybe, or some of the older cars, there seem to be more about them like that. They might not be as aerodynamic as they should be, or would be cost effective with filling it up with petrol and that. But there was something about them.
Yeah.
But yeah. Love it.
So, cars. In cars, I like to listen to the radio or music.
Do you?
I would love if there was a new song that I could listen to.
Well, that's great, because I have got a new. Well, I've got a kind of. I've done for once. Usually, the songs that I write are written by myself. They are original songs. This week,
written and performed by David Harding.
Yeah, written and performed by myself, all instruments. Just picking myself up there for a bit. But this song is, you will recognise as a parody of an existing song, which is "Creep" by Radiohead. But I've chose this song because it seemed to fit in, and this song is all about when you passed your test. We talk about.
Sorry, you just recently fell in love with Radiohead just a little bit, didn't you?
I did a little bit, yeah. Cheers me up. Anyway, right. So, when you pass your test, I don't think people realise this. Some people that don't drive realise that when you pass your test, as well as getting that piece of paper that says you passed, you actually get the soul of your car at that same time. And that soul of your car is carried through your life for every car you get. So your first car will have it. It will go to your second car. It will go to your third car. And sometimes your original soul of your car is not very happy about its next reincarnation. And that's what this song's about.
All right, I'll give it a listen.
I was a gear shift before, and easy on the eye. My boot was substantial, cup holders on both sides. My seats were real leather, my paintwork was gold. I used to be special, a GTI special, but I'm a Jeep, I'm a Peugeot. Why the hell did you buy me? Was I on Top Gear? Your treachery hurts when you drive in eco.
I've got too many seats and a roof you can't fold. I wanna be noticed when we're driving around. So special, a GTI special, but I'm a Jeep, I'm a Peugeot. Why the hell did you buy me? Was I on Top Gear? I've got large sliding doors, many sensors let go. Bleep, 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 bleep. The sound system's crappy, Radiohead looped. I was a GTI special, so special, but I'm a Jeep, I'm a Peugeot. Why the hell did you buy me? Was I on Top Gear? Was I on Top Gear?
Game time.
Woohoo! What a fantastic piece of song.
Piece of parody.
Piece of music.
Yes, thank you, Radiohead, for that. Yeah, it's just a bit of fun, and we'll probably be back on to original stuff next week.
Will we?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because I know what the song is next week.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've already recorded that, haven't I?
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
Let's play a game.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
Oh, right. So we play it then. Right, let's have a quiz then, shall we?
Oh, it's a quiz.
It's a quiz. It's a quiz. There's a couple of...
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. When I listen to Radiohead or a version of Radiohead, it just affects me.
Back professional now.
Professional. Okay, we've got a quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz.
No way.
It is. It's about cars.
No way.
And if you could play my sting.
Okay.
Climb inside for the FNS car quiz. But wipe your feet, it's just been cleaned. Buckle up and wait for the questions. Try to avoid getting in a tiz.
Nice sting.
Nice sting. Glad you like it. Right, shall we crack on?
Yeah. I think we should.
Okay. So question 1. What do the initials BMW stand for? Do they stand for A, Bavarian Motor Works? Do they stand for B, Berlin Motor Wagon? Or do they stand for C, Big Monkey Wiener?
Nice. Did you not think of a third one?
No, I couldn't think of a third one. No.
Bavarian Motorworks.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure you don't want to pick B?
I'm sure I want to pick.
Oh, that is right. That is correct. Okay, good start. Question 2.
Thank you.
What was the name of the first car sent into space? Was it A, the Tesla Rocketeer? Was it B, the Tesla Roadster? Or was it C, the Tesla Explorer?
That was, I remember it. That was the Tesla Roadster.
Right.
I remember it. So I think it was Elon Musk's personal Tesla.
So he sent it up in a rocket?
Yeah.
So where is it now then?
I think it's still in space. I might have to check that.
What an idiot. Right, okay. Question 3. How long does it take an airbag to inflate during a car crash? You should know about this.
I should know. It went off.
Yeah, do you remember?
Do you remember? Actually, not really.
You don't remember?
Well, I do and I don't, because it happened and then everything went white, and then I was looking around, there was a smell, and then there was the airbag inflated. In hindsight, the whiteness was the airbag. But carry on.
Okay, I'll carry on anyway. So is it A, 40 milliseconds? Is it B, 50 milliseconds? Or is it C, 60 milliseconds?
Unbelievable. Do you remember before last week where I had these things about these?
Can I just say, I know that you've got an issue with these sort of things, but when you do a quiz, some of the quiz you might know, some of the quiz you might have a educated guess, and some of them you just have to have a guess. And what makes it easier if you've got multiple choice? Now stop moaning and just choose one.
40 milliseconds.
And it's right. See, so you got it right. So stop it. Anyway, stop it. Stop your moaning. Question 4.
I couldn't make an educated guess with that one, could I?
Wait, but you could still guess. Question 4. When was the first speeding ticket issued and how fast was the motorist travelling?
This came up on the quiz we did the other day.
I think the question was, I think they gave the year or something.
So just to highlight, this is the quiz that we actually did. Like, we went to a quiz.
Yeah. Not the one we did, and I've just forgotten, and I'm asking it again. Right, so, first speeding ticket issued, and how fast was the person going? Was it in 1900, and the person was going 27 miles per hour? Was it in 1901, and the person was going 34 miles per hour? Or was it in 1902, and the person was going 45 miles an hour?
Oh. I'm going to go 1901.
1901, 34 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, 1902, and they were going 45 miles per hour. In 1902, in a car that would have been around in 1902, 45 miles per hour must have
quite
seemed
a lot,
like...
yeah.
Must have been
But I
shaking.
thought you were going a lot
anything.
later than that. I
Yeah.
thought it would be like 1923 or something like that.
No? There you go. Okay, question 6.
Turns out I didn't remember the quiz that well.
No. How long will the average British driver spend stuck in traffic in their life?
50 years.
Is it A, 77 days? Is it B, 88 days? Or is it C, 99 days?
B, 88 days.
It's in fact C, 99 days. Oh dear, it's all going wrong, isn't it? Okay, now these I get that you've got to guess these, but it is a quiz. Lighten up. Question 6.
I didn't moan at that one, but
Oh
now
no,
you
you
make me
didn't.
want
But
to
I
moan.
anticipated you moaning. Question.
Now I'm going to moan.
Right. Question 6. The world's first
again.
automobile race was in 1895. Oh, that shows you. And was won. Oh, hang on. This might. Oh, no. The world's first automobile race was in 1895 and was won with a speed of what? Was it 15 miles per hour? That's A. 20 miles per hour? That's B. Or 25 miles per hour? That's C. 1895.
B, 20.
It was in fact A, 15 miles per hour. Oh dear. It's all going tragically wrong for you. Okay. You've got a chance to redeem yourself now. We've got 4 more questions. Question 7. What is currently the world's fastest car? Right.
Okay.
Is it A, the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute? Is it B, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus? Or is it C, the Hennessy Venom F5?
I have a question. These fastest road cars, yeah, they would have to be, because you got the Bugatti Chiron.
Yeah.
The Bugatti, what was it, Bugatti?
It's the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus.
So I'm pretty sure Bugatti Veyron used to be the fastest car. What are the other two?
So A is the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, and C is the Hennessy Venom F5.
Hennessy Venom F5.
It is in fact B, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus at 300 miles per hour. Although it's capped at 273 miles per hour, but they will remove the cap, but only if it is a supervised run around their own test track. The other two say that they can go faster, but have never been able to prove it as yet.
That's infuriating, because I was thinking Bugatti, but I went
Should've
away
gone with
from
your first gut feeling. This one's going to annoy you.
Yep. What, the next question?
Next question's going to really annoy you. Question 8.
Do you write them to annoy me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many cars have I owned so far in my life?
Oh, my
In
goodness.
my own right, these are. So these are my cars.
Oh, I can't. So in your own right. So in
Yeah.
this case, are you not counting like company cars?
I am counting.
Ooh,
counting.
careful.
Yeah, I'll be careful with that sentence. I am counting company cars. What I am not counting is, for instance, Mum's current car, which I'm on the sort of insurance for, but is not my car.
Okay, so would you count a car that you drove for a period of time between you having a different car? Like, for example, there was a period of time where you drove around Mum's Micra.
No, because that was Mum's Micra.
Okay, so I'm going to think about recent history. So recent history, you've had the MG.
Do you want me to give you the numbers first?
Oh yes, please.
Right. Right. How many cars have I owned so far in my life in my own right? Is it A, 10? Is it B, 12? Or is it C, 14?
I think it's more than 10, because if I'm thinking just recent history, you've had the MG. Before you had the Hyundai. Before that, you had the what's the name of the Matiz?
Deo.
Matiz. Before that, you had. What did you have before the Deo Matiz? You did have another car before the Deo Matiz, and it wasn't a particularly good one either. Oh, it was a good one. Was it the Renault Megane?
Yeah.
So you had the Renault Megane before the Deo. Before that, you had You had a Jeep. Had a Mondeo. I'm going to go with... Was it B12?
So it was A, 10, B, 12, or C, 14.
I'm stuck between... I'm going to go B12.
It's C, 14.
Oh my goodness!
So, these were...
In order?
In order. VW Beetle.
Right, knew that one.
VW Polo.
Oh, that would have thrown me off, okay.
Ford Mark IV Cortina.
Didn't know that one.
Ford Fiesta.
I think you told me you had a Fiesta before.
Yeah, red Fiesta. Ford Escort.
Okay.
Ford Mondeo.
I remember the Mondeo. It was red,
Suzuki
wasn't it?
Jeep. Yep.
Suzuki Jeep,
Stacked
yeah.
the Mondeo.
Oh, I forgot. There was the Safira.
Yeah. 2 Safiras.
2 of them, okay.
I had a black Safira, which had all the old bits and pieces on it, and then I had a basic one, a silver one. A Ford Escort Estate, a white one. I had a Ford Estate Escort, which had the estate back to it, which I'd forgotten I had, but I had that
When
for a
did you have
period of
that?
time. I had that between having the Safira and the Renault Megane Coupe, which was my company car.
Because didn't you get rid of the Escort when you got the Megane?
Yeah. And then a
Okay.
Deo Matiz, Hyundai Getz.
Did you actually go from the Megane to the Deo? Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I
'Cause
gave
I-
up my company car.
Yeah.
And then the next car, because I just needed to get something to run around with, was that green, mean little machine.
Yeah, okay. Deo Matiz.
Hyundai Getz.
Are you sure there wasn't a car in between those?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Okay, Deo
Uh,
Matiz.
Hyundai
that was called
Getz.
Tinkerbell or Shrek, depending on who you asked.
It certainly wasn't called Tinkerbell.
Because
That
remember,
was
you had,
alright.
you had
That
to
did-
flick a switch in it to
to
turn on
do-
the reverse
To
light.
turn on the reverse lights, yeah. But it did have an auxiliary connection in it.
Yeah,
so I
you've
could
still
just
got the
plug
radio
my-
for that.
Yeah, I still have because of that. Then the Hyundai Getz, which I've got to say, I loved that car. That
Didn't
was-
have a radio. It didn't have a
radio
antenna,
didn't work
though.
properly because it didn't have an antenna thing on it, but It served me really well. I do loads of miles in it, and it was a light little speedy car. People used to pull up at the lights, and I didn't do anything illegal, but they'd look at you and go, yeah, and then I'd just put my foot down, I'd be away from them. And the MG, which I love, which is my newest car.
Yeah, the thing is, at least you upgraded from the Hyundai with something you actually liked.
Yeah.
Because I think you were a bit worried. You think, do I need a new car? And then you ended up getting a new car.
I did get a new car. Right. And you've got 2 more questions.
2 more questions, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, next question being, question number 9. I'm going to play you 3 horns, right? Oh, no, let's say it's a bit weird. I'm going to play the sound of 3 horns, like bibbers in cars. God, that's what they're called. They're called horns, aren't they? Beepers in cars. So I'm going to play you 3 of them, and then I'm going to ask you to match them up against either my car, your car, or Mum's car.
So yours is an MG3, my car's a Ford Fiesta ST line, and then Mum's is a Renault Scenic.
Okay, it is. So
just if anyone wants to play along.
Okay, I'm going to play you. You probably hear the hooter twice. Okay.
Okay.
So this is your first one. Which one is this? Did you hear that?
I did hear that, yeah.
Okay. So that's your first one.
So that's number 1.
That's your first one. Second one. Whose is this? Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And for your third one...
This is all from the inside of the car?
These are all from the inside of the car, right? So whose is this?
Right. So 1, 2, and 3. I've got to determine 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Which one's
so
which?
I want you to tell me which one was your one.
Was my one number 1?
No.
Was my one number 3?
No.
Was mine on number 2?
Yes.
I thought it was the best one anyway.
Well done on that then. Okay. Which one then was Mum's car?
Oh, was it number 2? No. Was Mum's number 3?
Mum's was number 3 and mine was number 1.
No, and yours was number 1.
Yeah. Well
cool,
done.
so I got it right.
So you got that right. Oh, well, are you going to cut it like that? Okay, so that went well. So we've got a similar sort of one here, and I appreciate you can hear the paper flapping about while I'm doing it.
Couldn't hear it.
Could you not?
Fine.
But there we go. Your last question. Have a listen to these sounds of boots being shut and tell me the make and model of the car boot being shut.
And for our American listeners, trunk.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, hang on. Make and model. So these are, again, our cars.
Yeah, so our cars anyway, but,
right.
you know, you just have to do that. Okay, so the first one. Let's have a look. Listen to the first one and see who it is. Right.
That was horrendous. Like that, that just sounds like someone's tripped over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that was that boot. Whose is this then? I'll just check to see if I haven't just played the same one. Oh, dear. Oh, this was a great idea, wasn't it? Right. And what about this one?
Right. Why is number 3 made of rubber?
What do you mean made of rubber? Does it sound a bit weird, does it?
It sounded well weird. It was like... Blah, blah, blah. Right. So what are the questions?
So...
Make and model of each.
Yeah. So what was the first one you heard?
None of them sound like that in real life. Just saying.
All right.
Did you put the phone in the boot to do this?
Yeah. I put it in the boot and then slammed the boot.
Oh, okay. Might sound different from inside the boot.
Oh, it might do, but that's the actual...
So I'd only know that if I ever got locked inside one of the boots.
Oh, well, you know what to do before the next quiz.
Okay. So, number 1 was... number 1 was... my car. Mum's car. Mum's car?
Which one are you going to go for?
Mum's car.
Is that because I looked surprised when you said that?
No.
Okay, it was Mum's car, yeah.
Yes.
Which is a...
Oh, a Renault Scenic.
Thank you, to get the question right.
Number 2 was my car. which is a Ford Fiesta ST line.
Oh, very well done.
And the last one was the MG3, which is your car. The reason I knew that was your car was the last one because your car has got the cover on it. But
you
that
heard
noise,
that, yeah.
it sounded like it getting stuck.
I realised that when I did it, yeah. Well done, you know your boots, just not your horns. And that was the end of my little car quiz. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. I thought it was something.
What?
Yeah. You said, I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was something.
You thought it was something?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. That's at least something.
Why'd you go all serious then for a moment?
Because I didn't really understand what you're going on about, that's why.
Right.
That's my serious what?
What?
Okay, so that's it. That's another one. There was loads we wanted to talk about cars, but we can't go on forever, so we've had to sort of scale it down a little bit going through.
What was your favourite car that you ever had?
My favourite car that I ever had? Oh, I do think the MG. There's something about it. I don't know whether it's now because I've got it now and it's at the time that I'd like a bit of comfort. I can play music in there. I can do all sorts. So no, I think that's probably my favourite. What about you? Out of the two you've got had.
Out of the I would like a combination of the two because I really love my heated seats and steering wheel on my Corsa. But
have you not got heated steering and
seats and steering wheel? No, not in my.
I don't like
line.
heated seats. Makes you feel like you've messed yourself when you.
No,
put them.
I love them. So that's what I would bring over to my new car. However, my new car as an actual car, is a lot better.
Excellent. Right. Next week, we are talking about getting old.
We are. If there is any messages you do want sent to us, you can do it on the website fatherandsundays.com. Go to contact us and you can send a message on there. Or you can email us at contactus@fatherandsundays.co.uk. Yep, that's correct. Yep. No, it's not. At fatherandsundays.com.
Fact check.
I got confused there for a moment. Also, as mentioned earlier in the podcast, there's also the charity side of things. You can do that going to our website, go to the charity page, or go fatherandsundays.com/charity. All the episodes are available on the website, but you can go on your chosen podcast platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, follow, subscribe, share those, review the podcast on your chosen podcast platform. Spotify, Apple. Yeah.
Okay. With that's it, I'm going to say bye.
All right then.